Time for a swim? All right, let's go. Spring has sprung. Gotta cool off. Yes. Best wishes. Beautiful. Let's go. Time for a swim? Well? Yes? Of course. Best wishes. Time to play. Very well. Don't get too excited. All right. Spring is sprung. Let's go. Spring is here. Spring is sprung. Yes. Yes. Gotta cool off. Of course. Well, best wishes. Time for a swim? Let's go.
Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another Infernal clear video in Fire Emblem Heroes, and today we're going to be taking on Empty Vessel, Fallen Takumi, on his Grand Hero Battle rerun with Camilla Emblem. So it's finally back, the source of heartache for I think a lot of players out there when he first came out. The Infernal difficulty for Fallen Takumi was probably the most difficult, well, no, easily the most difficult content in the game at that point. And I think even today, probably still one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult content in the game, aside from possibly some chain challenges. But as far as single maps are concerned, this one really takes the cake, and depending on your team composition, it can be a nightmare. I think I mentioned in the last video that we did on Fallen Takumi, where we cleared it on Infernal with my original flyer team, this map sucks for flyers, and it's basically tailored itself completely against flyers, and I'll explain why in a second. But we do have more access now to more flying mages, for one thing. We have access to more flying dancers, for another thing, and more flying dragons. And all of those things will actually help contribute to your own team composition as you're putting it together to take this on with flyers if you so choose. We don't have any of those options with Camilla Emblem, but Camilla Emblem is definitely strong enough to take this on, and I'll go over the strategy in just a second. As far as the map composition, it's really awkward. I mean, there's all these jutting out blocked spaces that kind of limit your movement, as well as these breakable slots, breakable walls in the middle. And all it really does is serve to kind of manipulate the AI and funnel them, and kind of limit your own movement options. There are reinforcements, and plenty of them on this map, so definitely be prepared for waves after waves of units. This was probably the second or third map or Grand Hero battle that featured heavy reinforcements, and they do not skimp on those. These two clerics in the middle of the map, they have Dazzling Staff for their B slot and Savage Blow for their C slot, which is super annoying. What that means is they can attack you without being retaliated against. You can't counterattack them, and then they'll knock you with Savage Blow and all of the rest of your party with Savage Blow for good measure. They also have Gravity and Slow as their weapons to be able to debuff your team. Slow hitting your speed stat, which is pretty important on this map, as well as Gravity, which limits your movement even further. You can only move one space at a time. This Bow Cavalier's Bad News as well also has Savage Blow. Really heavy on the Savage Blow. Intelligent systems really want you to feel the effects of kind of chip damage. And speaking of chip damage, we've got Takumi here, Fallen Takumis, two of them. They both have Cancel Affinity 3 in their B slot, so that's specifically intended to screw over Raven Tome users that would normally counter colorless units like Takumi. And he has his own preferred weapon, Skadi, which gives him +3 speed, but in addition to the +3 speed, it actually has an interesting and very unique effect. What it does is on turn 3, in a column in front of Takumi, similar to a ploy skill, as well as any columns immediately adjacent to Takumi. So it's basically 3 columns wide is the range, and infinitely vertically in front of him. Any opposing unit will be hit with Panic Ploy for 1, and 2 will take 10 damage. Which is pretty significant. And you have 2 Takumis, which means that basically they'll overlap as well, and they stack. So this Takumi has a range of 3 in front of him and infinitely in front, and this Takumi has a range of 3 in front of him and infinitely in front, which really means that the only safe zones on this map are all the way on the right and all the way on the left. And that will come into play a little bit later as we're going into the map. So now that we've talked a little bit about the map itself, why don't we take a look at the team? First up, we've got Vanilla Camilla at +10. She has Camilla's Axe, Reposition, Draconic Aura, and Distant Counter for her A slot, Hone Flyers for her C slot, and Death Ploy for her Seal. And for her B slot, I have Renewal 3. Now, traditionally I have that B slot as Renewal just because it's kind of a placeholder skill, because I'm really trying to get a chill skill for her on her B slot. But Renewal actually comes in super handy on this map. It's actually very important for her to be able to tank multiple hits, and so keeping her health topped is actually very important. Okay, next up we have Spring Princess Camilla, who actually is using the Speedy Grandblade build. This is a plus speed Spring Camilla, and with all of her flyer buffs from Flyer Friends, she can reach 50 plus speed on initiation. So she has Grandblade plus, Reposition, Draconic Aura, which synergizes with the Blade Tome, Darting Blow, Desperation, Goad Flyers, and Distant Defense 3 as her seal. That is an unusual choice that is going to come into play a little bit later. That is going to be an important decision. Next up we have New Year's Camilla with the Slaying Edge Gale Force Heavy Blade build. She's got reposition for her assist, Death Blow 3 for her A slot, Desperation for her B slot, and Goad Flyers for the C slot. Slaying Edge has that attack refinement to ensure that we get those heavy blade procs where appropriate. And last up, we have Tropical Beauty Camilla with a Blarblade Fury Desperation build, reposition Draconic Aura, Goad Flyers for that C slot, and Flyer Formation for the Seal is definitely going to be coming in handy on this very cramped map. Alright, so let's begin. The first thing we're going to do, we're just going to swap ourselves over here and position ourselves in such a way in that we're going to funnel up the right-hand side. So we're just going to move up. We're also going to take out these blocks because they're a huge annoyance. We're going to have New Year's Camilla up in point, Spring Camilla in the rear, and we're going to be in T formation so that everybody gets that juicy Hone Flyers buff for next turn. So our goal on turn 2 is going to be to eliminate safely as many of the units on the right-hand side as possible, and this Bow Cavalier certainly is going to be a major target for us. But the first thing we're going to do, we'll use Summer Camilla to remove this Sword Dragon, and then we'll use Vanilla Camilla to reposition her back to safety. We're going to use New Year's Camilla to move up and remove the Bow Cavalier. And then we'll scoot Spring Camilla forward just to eliminate the Blue Mage. Okay. So like I said, the Savage Blow is coming into play. That is painful, as is the Gravity. So next turn, we are going to be using Summer Camilla to remove this Green Mage on player phase. And you'll note that Summer Camilla is now in the safety zone from Skadi. She's all the way on the right-hand side, so Takumi and his weapon is not going to be inflicting a Panic Ploy or a -10 damage to her on next turn, which is turn 3. Next, we're just going to move Spring Camilla back to eliminate this Sword Fighter. What is Weapon Triangle? I don't know. And then we're going to use New Year's Camilla to remove this Cleric. Okay. So next, we're going to reposition New Year's Camilla back, and we're actually going to move New Year's Camilla back another space. The reason for this is because we want this Cleric to attack either Summer Camilla or regular Camilla. We don't want her to attack New Year's Camilla. New Year's Camilla cannot counterattack. But more importantly, if this Cleric moves into this range and in this space, this Lance Cavalier can't attack Vanilla Camilla and die on enemy phase. We want to avoid that by moving New Year's Camilla back a space. Okay, so you see the Skadi effect go off. And goodbye to the Lance Cavalier. Okay, so this is a kind of a messy turn. We're all discombobulated. We just want to kind of regroup. So the first thing, we'll just use Camilla to remove and take out this Cleric. And now we're just going to reposition back. We're going to reposition back, and we're going to reposition back. And Spring Camilla is in the range of this Thief, but that is no problem because we had the foresight to put Distant Defense 3 on Camilla, which was the unusual choice, but it actually allows her to survive a hit against the Thief. She'll actually take 0 damage, whereas she would have taken full damage and actually died against him if she did not have it. There we go. All these Savage Blows. Okay. So we've got some dangerous overlapping ranges here, and we want to avoid that where possible. We want to let them come a little bit closer in so we can take them all out in one turn. So we're going to kind of shift our focus off to the left side a little bit. We're going to use Spring Camilla to take out the Thief. Whoops. We're going to use Spring Camilla to take out the Thief. And now we're just going to reposition loop ourselves over a little bit so we're out of the range of both Takumi's and this Red Cavalier. Vanilla Camilla is in the range of this Axe Cavalier, and that's fine. She can actually has just enough health, thank you Renewal, to take on that hit and kill him on enemy phase. And we're going to just scoot Summer Camilla behind Vanilla Camilla to get that Hone Flyers buff. Okay, so now we're perfectly positioned to take out all 3 of these characters on the same turn. We're going to reposition over, and we want to get enough goads on New Year's Camilla so that she can double Takumi. Takumi has 43 speed, and New Year's Camilla has 44 speed on initiation. She's already getting the Camilla's Axe speed boost, because Camilla's Axe gives nearby flyers a +3 speed boost. But we're going to reposition Summer Camilla over, and that should be just enough speed so that we can double and take out Fallen Takumi. I'm going to proc Gale Force in the process. We'll use Summer Camilla now to kind of move forward and remove the second Takumi. And now this Red Cavalier is sitting lonesome all by himself, ready to be taken out by New Year's Camilla. And that's it. So that's the strategy that I used to clear Fallen Takumi Empty Vessel on Infernal difficulty, the Grand Hero Battle rerun with Camilla Emblem. Let me know in the comments below what teams you used, what strategies you used, if you used flyers, and if you used Camilla Emblem. I'd be interested to hear what you ended up doing to clear this map. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it was helpful, and if it was, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you so much for watching, we really do appreciate it, and until next time, let's protect those skies.